My name is Arild Hauge. I'm Deputy Director of the Independent Evaluation Office at UNDP. I'll be chairing the panel and introduce the panelists to you in a moment. But before anything else, can I please ask our host, Colin, to say a few words by way of welcome on behalf of the UN Evaluation.
Great, thank you very much, Arild. And it's a very great pleasure to welcome all of you here this evening. Some of you I can see were here at lunchtime when we had in some ways a similar event, but I think we'll spin the dial a little bit and have a slightly different topic. My name is Colin Kirk. I'm the Director of Evaluation in UNICEF, and it's been our pleasure to collaborate with our colleagues in the UN system, particularly UNDP for this evening's event, and with UN Women for the lunchtime event. UNEG is a network of the evaluation offices of all the UN agencies, the various UN agencies. And so we collaborate partly to strengthen the evaluation function within the UN system, but also to reach out and to work with partners both in government and in civil society beyond. One of the mechanisms that we use is, or I should say one of the partnerships that we have is with a group called EvalPartners, which is an alliance between the UN system and the International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation. And I might say a little bit more about it later, but that network is producing a series of publications. There are briefing notes on evaluation and the SDGs, and we're very proud of having, after a long period of consultation, developed an evaluation agenda for the 4 years leading up to 2020. So I just wanted to mention those things to set the scene a little bit for this evening's discussion. So let me say just once again, thank you very much for coming along after a long, hard day. I'm sure you've all been in meetings and different activities all throughout the day. A warm welcome to all of you from all of us here at UNICEF.
So if we have a follow-up and review process that is based on only indicators and monitoring, we will find out what progress has been. But do we really have the process for innovation and learning? So this is where we see that evaluation adds a level of service to the whole process. First thing is that, of course, every country is different and is at a different stage and has different strengths. And the 2030 agenda is very clear that it's not a global standard that we're working to, it's improvement for every country in every aspect for every person. So that requires making sure that each national government and national context is acknowledged, and that each community within the country is acknowledged, each sector is acknowledged. So the uniqueness of each country, even though there is a common set of indicators and targets, it doesn't mean that all of those indicators and all of those targets are relevant for every country. So evaluation at the national level, at the subnational level, can really give that fine-grained approach to what does progress really mean? What does the progress towards the targets really mean? And how can progress be accelerated towards the goals? Learning from the MDGs, there was tended to be a bit of a silo approach there, but I think we're learning very much that integration across different ministries, across different sectors, across different community groups, different interests, that's where a lot of sharing, learning, and improvements can occur. So we need to get better at integration. We need to get better at seeing those linkages. So if we only look at indicators and targets, we have the potential for, again, being too much focusing on silos. It's about how those interrelate, and there are new tools in evaluation which are coming through, which help to drive dynamism in terms of progress and learning and innovation. And so we would encourage you all to keep up to date with those new tools and look at how those can be used.
It's a matter of some, call it professional conviction among those of us who are in the evaluation specialist field that somehow we have things to offer, goodies that everybody would be well served. There was a certain hesitation in the SDG process, let us be clear, to adopt the clarity we would prefer about evaluation, because it comes with a sort of a connotation of control. There is a sort of a legacy of understanding evaluation as being a sort of a tool associated with a donor giving enterprise, and that it's incumbent upon us to think in new ways too about evaluation as we come. The SDGs is a different kind of beast than the MDGs. It's got another level of country ownership, and there will be other tools of evaluation too. We may need to think in broader terms than the project cycle management kind of idea of evaluation, maybe. Now, we don't want to put the panelists and countries on the spot by way of committing or begging them to profess their conviction in the same manner as us specialists.
Indeed, the evaluation process is very interesting, I think, but honestly speaking, Georgia is, for example, a rare example of moving out of the cycle of bad, mutually reinforcing bad governance, corruption, poverty, but still we are dealing with very complex transformational challenges on a daily basis. So it is important not to create additional bureaucracy related to evaluation or SDG nationalization implementation, but to position SDG targets really as national country level goals. This is, I think, very important. I wanted to add here.
The first point related to progress of countries in a specific or all SDGs. It's a kind of monitoring the countries' progress in a target level. This is very crucial, and it's very necessary to observe the countries' engagement or integration of the SDGs. But the second point of the evaluation is related with the nature of the SDGs itself. I mean that some of the SDGs and their targets and even indicators may not be appropriate for any countries. During the evaluation process, the appropriate indicator or the target could be seen by the evaluation processes. For this reason, as many as evaluators should be in the evaluation process to confirm each other, to see the countries' national circumstances and appropriate targets for each countries.
In fact, as it will say that the goals are set for countries, I think. And we know that development process is probably a process that should be a bottom-up process, not a top-down process, because most of our countries tried the top-down process in development, and we know that it was very costly, and the results and outcome were not what we were expecting. So I think that development coming from local communities is probably the best approach for development. So that means that if we focus on the national goals, probably we will come with some interesting results, and it's exactly what happened in my country for the MDGs. But we discovered, even if we knew, but fortunately with the figures, that all this development was very important in income and different other indicators, was in fact accompanied with something that's very sad, is the increase on disparities between the region and disparity between people. So at the same time, we make people richer and we make others poorer, and that is not acceptable.
Many useful reflections here. I hope with this event we've been able to draw in some new partners to reflections about the challenges and opportunities of evaluation as we're moving ahead into the SDG era. We need owe our thanks to UNICEF for providing the facilities and also very kindly for hosting us. There will be some cocktails to be served. Before closing, let me just say in very brief on behalf of my office or our office, the Independent Evaluation Office of UNDP, we will be at the service of further discussions on this topic together with our UNEG colleagues, of course. On your chairs, you've seen the proceedings from our prior global conference on national evaluation capacity development that we had in Bangkok last year. There will be another one coming up next year. You will be hearing more about that very soon. But before I come to a close, I want to beg you all, put your hands together for the panelists coming to share with us their reflections today and for our colleagues at UNICEF. Thank you.